specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Welcome to the Bro Zone, the ultimate garage setup for checking out the big game.
70-inch TV? Check. Surround sound? Check. Mini fridge fully stocked? A check.
But a legendary Bro Zone needs legendary snacks.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky. It's the perfect game day companion when you're watching from the ultimate fan cave.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring triaxle, tandem, single-axle trucks including cab and chassis, decks, diggers, dumps, pickers, tractors, vacs, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
The Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Ooh. Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, okay, Blue Jays, you have climbed the mountain. Now you have to stay there. And there's a lot of hyenas barking at your heels. Can they do it? Well, we'll find out. Plus, the Esk in action on the weekend, and the lights are on in the Oilers' offices. What are they doing? Plus, we're going to try to figure out what's going on with the LA Dodgers-Lakers ownership thingy and why. I think they have a lot of money. It's just that the cash flow might be an issue, but we'll talk about that as the day rolls along. Lowdown with Lowtide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick on Sports 1440 and on YouTube. We're delighted that you're here. Our headliner of the day is Kevin McCurdy. Wolf GMC Buick starting Thursday, only 3 days, the VIP overstock sale. Clearance pricing, employee pricing, and even more special incentives. WolfGMCBuick.com. We're also live on sports1440.ca, iHeartRadio, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcast, and we tweeted out on X. Blue sky, step off. We'll get there when we get there. You're just going to have to be patient. On Twitter at Lowtide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04. You can text or call anytime, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're talking Jays, Elks, Babcock's rookies, and whether or not any of them make it, Dodgers ownership, and more today. And I'm sure the gentleman will have something to say about the NBA. And, of course, we have declinations. I believe today is NCAA? Anyway, we'll talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the introductions. He has a range of knowledge about sports that is scary, exceptional recall, and the best poker face in the building. He gives chills the chills. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Connor Spivak. Connor Spivak, everybody. How are you?
Not too bad. Feeling a little bit like the Mariners last night.
So, God, 22 Cobb, was it? That was the score?
Yeah.
And Julio throws the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was long gone by the time Julio did that. But
I don't know. I think they had a chance.
The starter for the Mariners, I can't remember. It was a Bryce. He wasn't that bad. He gave up 5 earned runs in like 4 2/3, but it just took off from there. What a mess the Mariners are. His sports knowledge focuses on NBA, MLB, NHL, with specific expertise in outrageous roster moves made by the Los Angeles Angels. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
Sure. I forgot that Joe Adele was traded, so am I really that locked into the comings and goings of everybody on the Los Angeles Angels? By the way, the starter for the Mariners last night was, Bryce Miller.
Yeah, Bryce Miller. And he wasn't that bad. He had 5 earned runs in like 4 2/3 or something. Yeah. But after that, I mean, the bullpen just got shellacked. I don't know what's going to happen to the Mariners because they were close a year ago. The Jays knocked them out, right? And now, who knows? His sports knowledge is wide and strong, from NBA, NFL, CFL, RESP, ECT, to the man who made Jimmy Butler a household name in Edmonton. Impossible, and yet it's true. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everyone.
Ooh. Well, I'm trying to think of like a comparable. Like I did for Jimmy Butler in Edmonton, what would be
Howard Cosell did for Muhammad Ali
worldwide or in America?
Would you say that Cosell helping Ali, who was very shy?
I might even say Ali helped Cosell, but that's probably not fair to Howard Cosell.
Well, Cosell was very famous.
He was, yeah. He was the
guy. He was the boxing guy, right? And I've always felt that the character in The Odd Couple that was Oscar was really kind of Howard Cosell. But I digress. All right, McCurdy's coming up at 1 o'clock. You have the declinations at 1:40. What will that entail?
Yeah, a Declan NCAA today. Going to be giving my top 12 teams plus my group of 5 team.
All right. Look, the baseball is, if you're a math nerd and you don't love baseball, I can't help you. It is the best math nerd sport out there. And right now you are watching, I'm not going to say for the ages because this comes around, but not every year. The American League wild card situation is beyond the pale. You've got the Yankees and the Bo Sox with the first 2 wild card spots, and they're gone. They're up by like 6 games or so. Now, the Texas Rangers are holding on to the final spot. They are a half game up on the Minnesota Twins and the Toronto Blue Jays. A game out Cleveland, who are struggling. Baltimore, who yesterday were, holders of the wild card, are now a game out, and there's 2 teams between them and the Rangers. Then you've got the Orioles, who are not out of it yet, the Detroit Red Tigers, and the Seattle Mariners, who are now 3 out, and I think they're done, but you never know. Josh, I'll ask you, do you recall a more mind-numbing wild card run in recent years? And I know the wild card has expanded, but this seems to be like ultimate wild card madness.
No, this is it. You sort of wish they still had the tiebreaker game 163, for situations like this. But I like this is very exciting to keep tabs on. Am I tuning into a lot of Rangers games? No, not ever since Nathan Eovaldi went down. So sad. Who makes more than Connor McDavid a year, by the way? Just thought I'd throw that in there. But it's very exciting stuff because it just moves around so much. Like the Orioles had control of the spot. If the Jays can beat the Rays, then like they'll have control of the spot. Like it's just it's just all this wishy-washy, up, down, sideways, diagonal nonsense. So it makes for an exciting September, and as of right now, August.
So follow-up question, if I may. Are the Jays the team that can pull away? Because somebody's going to pull away. And trying to identify that team, there are people who think they're experts are going to identify that team. I'm telling you, you can't do it. You can play the odds. You can say, hey, the starting staff is looking good. The bullpen's fine. They've got, great hitters who are hotter than Hades. But it is, with this many teams, I think it's impossible to pick the team. What do you think?
I think it is impossible to pick the team because they're so close for a reason. They all have their own individual strengths. The Orioles bats can come alive at really any moment. The bullpen for the Jays has been honestly lights out for the last little while.
And not getting to pitchers too. Nick Martinez came in yesterday and he had a great record, as does Rasmussen, who'll pitch for Tampa Bay today against Scherzer. That starting matchup that favors the Rays, but yesterday's did too, and they won anyway.
Yeah, so it really comes down to whose bats can stay hot the longest. Honestly, I would say it's probably between obviously the Rangers because they hold the spot, but then I'd say the Jays and the Orioles.
Declan, I have a question for you.
If it's baseball, you go ahead and ask Josh for a second.
No,
Okay.
It is baseball, but I feel as though
I got a little bit.
Okay, Mark Walter is an American businessman, philanthropist, and chief executive officer of Guggenheim Partners. It's a privately held global services firm with $345 billion in assets. He's also, known as the guy who owns a couple of franchises like the Dodgers, and is apparently selling the Los Angeles Lakers. But New York Times has an article, and the title is at The Athletic. It's called Amid Federal Scrutiny, Dodgers owner Mark Walter's Empire Shifting Billions. So you are, sir, an observer of the game, not just in North America, NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, but also Europe and the gigantic soccer leagues and the massive teams like Manchester United and on and on and on and on. So if you read a headline about anybody that says amid federal scrutiny, owner of a famous sports team, empire is shifting billions, what does that tell you?
Right. Like we talked about this a little bit yesterday. And to me, obviously, I think it's fair to say we're not beat reporters. We have pretty limited knowledge on the subject. But you don't buy the LA Lakers to flip them in a year and a half.
No.
That's not what you do. And the fact he's done that, to me, it just screams some sort of financial ruin or getting ahead of the curve on something criminally related. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who was the Ponzi scheme guy?
Bernie Madoff?
That one.
Oh, they made a movie about him.
Robert De Niro played Bernie Madoff.
Yeah. Nice guy. Very charming.
Yeah, and then also a fraud. I think that's what he's being investigated by the FBI for.
To me, it seems like he's selling the Lakers because he knows he's going to need a little bit of cash quickly here.
Well, according to the Athletic article, two of his companies, Delaware Life Insurance and Clear Spring Life and Annuity, received grand jury subpoenas in February as part of an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. Also, a parallel investigation underway by Securities and Exchange Commission, U.S. Attorney's Office, and SEC declined to comment. I feel like if I was in this situation, I would try to find a country that would not send me back to America.
Non-extradition countries?
Right.
I'm sure he's looking into that.
Yeah. And then did you bring up how he's selling his stake in Chelsea also?
Oh, no. And he also is trying to offload the Dodgers TV deal is the most lucrative in sports. And he's trying to liquidate that in exchange for a cash buyout. So I just feel like, I don't deal in these billions of dollars. I'm just a guy in front of a microphone.
You're just a regular millionaire. You're not quite hitting the billions yet.
Oh, doctor, how not true that is. Bottom line here is that and this is the only question I care about. With due respect to the individual involved, he knew what he was getting into, and he is going to have to, he made his bed. He's going to have to lie in it. But just so everybody understands, a lot of the Los Angeles Dodgers signings over these last years, Ohtani, Tucker, all of those guys, there's a lot of deferred dollars there, a lot of deferred dollars. Those dollars have to be paid out. And if it's not by Walter, it'll be by somebody else who buys the team or MLB. And MLB is just about to go and vote for a lockout. And they need all of the owners to say, yeah, we're in favor of a lockout. We can't afford this. Here's the problem. The Dodgers owner, as it stands right now, may not vote for a lockout because he needs a year to pay the bills. He needs a baseball year to pay the bills. This is a weird story.
Well, or he need am I wrong in saying or he needs $2.5 billion from Donald Trump's son-in-law's brother?
Well, here's
to pay the
thing.
bills.
But that story apparently had legs, and then the legs got chopped off, and there's no legs. Is that story true?
Well, they still bought Mark Walters, whatever it was, 78% share of the team.
Yeah.
His majority stake for $12.5 billion.
Well, so that should be enough.
So he's got his original $10 billion investment. Now he's going to have to dole out pay these contracts that they're on the books for.
Before
he sells the Dodgers?
Right. When did he buy the Lakers?
Last year.
Like a year ago.
I think it was like 14 months ago.
And he bought the Dodgers not long time ago.
2022, maybe, right
Right.
before they started winning all these World
he's-
Series.
Look, he's an empire builder. We know what these guys are. They start out in shipping in Cleveland, and they become George Steinbrenner.
Except if his empire, like in theory, is a real Bernie Madoff situation or whatever, that means like the Dodgers were winning World Series on white collar crimes.
So I want to ask this question because how do cats who make this much money and deal in this much money get away with this stuff to this point when Larry Hoagland out there, if there's a Larry Hoagland, I apologize, if he's in like any kind of situation, there's more hell to pay than Carter has liver pills. Why does that work like that? How come the big guy never pays until he has to? And this fellow probably gets away with, a slap on the wrist and you have to stay in Bermuda for a year.
A lot easier to pay people off when your
like
net worth starts with a B and not an M.
Rules don't really apply to the rich. Like that can't possibly be news to anyone.
I agree with that, but it's never been more obvious that that is the case. This is like every damn day. Every day. We had the NBA being investigated, and now all of a sudden there's nothing going on.
This has not been a decade for sports management, basically, just for sports in general.
And thank God the NFL has absolutely
like nothing wrong with it.
things are going so smoothly. They must be thrilled because they're not even on the news event horizon with what's happening with the Dodgers, what's happening in the NBA. And we're 17 minutes into a show about sports, and all we've really talked about is business and guys who are, possibly not doing things right.
Yes.
No.
Possibly doing illegal things.
Well, there you go. Okay, Elks on Friday night, right?
Correct.
And
if you draw your attention to the whiteboard.
How many people do we expect to see?
There's actually someone who tracks it. I forget the account, but I could try and find the number. I would assume it's going to be the Argos game was 22,000, I think.
Right, which is good. It's not Saskatchewan.
And I would think, I would think this one gets up around 25.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think we can, because I've noticed a lot of the people who are bitching and moaning about the lack of bums in the seats on the television are not from here. Okay, so I remember when Commonwealth would be full. It was a different world. It just was. Now, a lot of people, whether they're older or younger, they watch the game at home, but they're still Canadian Football League fans. CFL television ratings are grand. This is a great league. It's covered well. It's fantastic. Everybody loves it. But when people go online, specifically Twitter is where I notice it, and they're all about, look at this, used to be. Why don't you just look at what the Elks were for 6 years and then understand that people needed to be convinced that they were real. Now they are, and they're up to 25, but you're still bitching and moaning. And you know what? I've had it. I'm sick of it. 25,000 people for a CFL game is good. And the Elks don't have a stadium like Regina does or like Winnipeg does. They don't have that. So it doesn't look as pristine as it does in those other cities, and that's fine. But the idea that you're going to use this as a hammer against Edmonton, I'm just telling you, step off and go to hell. And as of today, that's how I'm saying. Every time I read it, I'm going to respond to the individual bitching and moaning about Elks attendance, and I'm going to say that. You wait until October when they're winning the division and then they're in a Western final. You wait and see what happens then. This fan base is coming back, but they've got to be wooed, and that's what's happening right now. And if you can't figure that out, then stop texting about the damn attendance because we're all sick of it in Edmonton. I don't know why, but Edmonton seems to be the whipping city in a lot of ways. Remember when Connor McDavid won the Oilers won the lottery, Connor McDavid? It was less than 20 seconds. The media in Toronto was all over. Look how sad he looks. 2 years I give him and he's out of there. Oh my God. Grow up. Okay. Coming up, we have rumors. We also have declinations. Are you looking forward to declinations at 12:40, or are you going to have to really, work on it between now and then?
No, I am looking forward to it. I try and always talk a little less on Wednesdays because I really go all in on the Declan CAA segment. And I don't really let anyone else get a breath in until I'm finished.
Just so you know,
and I don't care.
That's your 15 minutes. Like, you can do whatever you want.
And
you can have top
I take
10,
all of it.
You could do top 10 things that irritate me about Lowtide.
I could even do top 5 Christopher Nolan movies
You could
with
do
Josh.
top 5 things that irritate Cam Tate about Lowtide. You could do top 10 things that irritate Cam Cole about Lowtide. You do all of that. It's your 15 minutes. You can do everything you want.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun one.
Josh, have you wrecked a car yet today, or are you still with that car that you had after the last wrecked one?
I'm luckily still with that same car.
Right.
For now, we'll see what happens.
And
Heading up to Peace River this weekend. We'll see if it comes back in one piece.
There you go. And now, are you getting along with the families? The families have met each other. Is that a good
Well,
feeling?
I've met her family. She's met my family. The families have not intermingled.
Families don't really intermingle like that. Like, that's kind of a rare one. It has to be a pretty specific situation to come up.
So does your mom like your girl?
She does. She really, really likes
Does
it.
your girl like your mom?
Yes, as far as I'm aware.
You are absolutely golden, sir. You are golden. You are just in a great spot.
Riding high.
Right. And with the in-laws, there will be no problems until any of your children start failing in school, and then that will be your fault. Okay, on the way, rumors. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers The Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairies Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring triaxle, tandem, single axle trucks including cab and chassis, decks, diggers, dumps, pickers, tractors, vacs, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Hi, Sticky. They're breaking down the middle. Here's the Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Starting Thursday, 3 days only, the VIP Overstock Sale. Clearance pricing, employee pricing, and even more special incentives. WolfGMCBuick.com. Well, you know, sometimes in life at a radio station, you come in and it's same old, same old. And then other times it's like, what? So I arrived today and I went and got my headphones and my script for the liners to read. And I was plugging in my computer and doing all this stuff. And I saw in my bunk a nice big package of one of my favorite treats I haven't had in years, Glossette raisins in the box. And one of the reasons I love them is they kind of taste like the box. So it's an acquired taste. So I received a note with it, and it's from Mr. Maris's daughter, Jenna. And I hope I'm saying that right because I think that's an N, and I do apologize if I got it wrong. Dear Lowtide, my dad, Mr. Marist, asked that I give you these. You two are the only people I know that actually enjoy these things. I think your hate on Ed Sheeran is invalid, and you don't understand the meaning of his songs. Okay? Okay, yeah, that's probably fair. Also, Declan, when wearing a white shirt and hat, looks like the Sonny from Secret Life of Pets, and you cannot change my mind. P.S. You and Declan fight like an old married couple. That's from Jenna. Well, thank you so much for the, I gotta say, the Glossette raisins will be gone by Friday. That's how much I love them. And I will give Ed Sheeran another chance. I know he wrote that great song by that other guy, the Canadian one, My Mama Don't Like You, and She Likes Everyone, whatever that one's called. So he has some good songs. I just don't like the back pocket one. As for what you look like with your white shirt, do you agree with that, Declan?
I think it's a compliment, maybe, probably an insult. I just looked up Sonny from The Secret Life of Pets. I don't see any character by that name. So, just a little clarification, maybe.
Okay, well, hold on.
Like, I'm looking through the list of characters. Oh.
It could be a B, not an S.
It could be Bunny. Bunny from Secret Life of. I'm
that
sorry.
Tracks a little bit better, and
Sure.
that's great. That's great context clues by Josh there to pick up on that.
Right.
What do we think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Josh is giving it the stamp of
Okay,
approval,
all
so
right.
we'll say it was Bunny, and we'll say she did
And
a
we'll
good job.
say she's right about Ed Sheeran too, and we're just thrilled about the Glossette raisins.
Well, she was right about Ed Sheeran.
Also, shout out to Mr. Maris. Was very concerned on Twitter, known as Okanagan Guy. Was very concerned for me when I was down in the Okanagan.
Oh, that's very nice.
And even like privately DM me saying if I needed a place to stay to let him know.
That's very
and
sweet.
They'd be willing to put me
Right.
and my girlfriend up while we were stuck.
Well, we know Mr. Maris is a good person, and we also know Mr. Maris doesn't know you at all, or he never would have offered that.
Legend. And then privately DM me after the fact saying, "Did you get home?" And I was like, "Yes, I did. Thank you so much for checking in."
Yes. It is very kind. There are good people in the world.
Good
We
gentlemen.
Remember that, yeah. All right, it's time for Rumors, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives. I don't know what they do, but I love what they do. Like every company needs that. Every owner and manager needs that. I got to call somebody because I got a problem. Take care of it. Hire Good. Love it. Okay. A few things to talk about. Number one, wrote about it today in The Athletic. Everybody is saying these rookies aren't going to play. And I agree. Like guys like Quinn Hudson and Josh Szymanski, maybe even, and Connor Clattenburg and all those cats, Damian Carfagna, they might not make the team. But I do think there'll be recall options. And looking back at Mike Babcock's coaching career in Toronto, it's in the article today, a lot of the guys who ended up emerging under Babcock, like Zach Hyman and Connor Brown, had played a little bit the previous year. So a lot of people think Ike Howard is in a bad spot, but that's not true. He's played 29 games, so he knows a little bit about the National Hockey League and what might be required. I don't think it's going to be an easy training camp for anybody arriving. The world, as the Edmonton Oilers knew it, with previous coaches is over. They have hired a taskmaster. The leadership group wants that. And it's going to be, they're not going to get up at 5 a.m. and run up and down a hill, I don't think, but it's going to be a little bit different. I do think the young players will appeal to Babcock because they're coachable, they're trainable, and they are willing to do anything to win an NHL job. And veterans are too, but to a point. We'll see how it goes. But I think especially Quinn Hudson and Josh Szymanski and Ike Howard are in better spots than a lot of people are suggesting, and we'll see how that works, but that's my belief. Apparently, according to Craig Morgan, a very fine reporter, Arizona Hockey Insider, speaking with NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly, apparently there's interest in having, are you ready for this, an NHL franchise return to the Phoenix area. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
There's 74 NHL rinks in the Phoenix area because they keep moving that damn team around. They finally moved them to Utah, where they're an immediate and impressive success under owner Ryan Smith, not that Ryan Smith. And now it's like a Jones. It's the Gary Jones. Arizona is Gary's Jones. He just can't get it out of his head. That's got to be it. Why else would you put an NHL team in the desert?
Arizona's his muse. Well, I had a friend of mine when I was going to Nate. He said hockey in the desert, for whatever reason, just makes sense to me. I don't know how it made sense to him, but I mean, like, it's hot out. Maybe you want to go hang out in a cool place for a little bit.
I think there's a lot of Canadians down there.
That too. I mean, it does make a lot of sense for it to be in the Phoenix area, because what's the place where all the, like, it's basically Little Canada, the whole town. Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say Chandler, but
if you can get around there in the wintertime, like, that is, like, it seems like it would be a smart business move capitalizing on that. But also, they're Canadians. They have their own hockey teams.
Jack Kent Cooke famously was late to the party in the 67 expansion, and very, very late in the process. He put his name in to be the first owner of the Los Angeles Kings, and he was awarded the franchise by the National Hockey League at the time. Kent Cooke had spent a lot of time in Toronto earlier in his life, and he had done the research about Los Angeles, and he found that a large percentage of the people who lived in Los Angeles in 1966 were Canadian, expatriate Canadians. And so he got the team, and within, 2 months of the Los Angeles Kings playing their first home games, the crowds were terrible. And he went to the media, and he was very angry. And he said, I did the research, but I didn't do it properly. What I researched was there was about 250,000 expat Canadians living in the Los Angeles area. What I now know is the reason they moved to LA was to get away from NHL hockey because nobody's coming. It was a hilarious joke. Everybody laughed. And of course, the LA Kings are now a brilliant success. And everybody who's ever bought or sold the LA Kings has done well. Elsewhere in the NHL, Philadelphia Flyers have signed Nolan Foote. The Rangers have signed Scott Morrow to a one-year deal. The Bruins are discussing a captain. I mean, I think I would probably go McAvoy or, gosh, have they ever had a European captain? Like Pasternak would be a great captain, I think. Marchand was traded, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So we'll find out about that. But there are times when it's a big deal. I don't know. When I was young, the captain of a team was like, that was a big. Jean Beliveau was the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. Dave Keon was the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs after George Armstrong. It was a big deal. I don't sense that it's as big a deal now.
I still think it's a big deal.
All right.
I care about who my captain is.
No.
I don't particularly care about like other franchises' captains, but I care about who my captain is.
Who's the Calgary captain?
Michael Backlund.
Well, that's a great choice. I mean, that's the only choice.
I have no idea who's going to be next.
It'll be the college winger.
Oh, Coronado?
Yeah.
If it was going to be anybody, I would think it. He wore the A part-time last season after everybody got traded away. But I would think maybe Joel Farabee.
Oh, okay. All right. He hasn't been there that long. I would have not.
No, but like he got quickly promoted to, well, I think he wore the A at home games last year after Uyghur got traded, after they sold off everybody. So I would think maybe him. I hope he gets it full time this year, not halftime. But like if Zach Whitecloud decides he wants to stay in Calgary, which I can't imagine they'll keep him around in Calgary, I think he's wearing the A full time this year.
We talked about this yesterday about the National Football League expanding outside of the United States. Roger Goodell saying, no doubt the NFL will have teams based in the U.S. And now there's, Brazil, Mexico, obviously Toronto, Vancouver, mentioned by our cohort, Josh, other cities in Europe. I think Germany, they've always, I think, done well attendance-wise whenever they have American football over there. We didn't ask you yesterday, but I'm going to ask you now. Begin with Declan. Do you have, like right now, a favorite? Like if you were going to pick a team, and I understand there's logistics. I get it. I understand. But do you have a favorite for a or two franchises that might go elsewhere outside the United States?
Like where I would personally put them or where I think the league is actually going to lean?
Where you, an intelligent man with motor skills and a being that doesn't make farcical comments, would put them.
I would put, legitimately, I would put one in Toronto, one in Mexico City.
Okay.
I think it'll end up being, like, I think London will be one of the destinations.
Okay.
Or like if this ever even comes to pass, I should say. I shouldn't say like it's written in stone like that. But I just think like the amount of times they go out there for the international games, the population base, there's like I don't know what they're going to do with Wembley, but presumably like that's where they play the games. Presumably you can split that stadium. Like that just seems like they've never done an international game in Toronto. They don't do it in Mexico City near as much as they do it over in London. There seems to at least be a little bit of generated fanfare there. So.
Okay. I have a question because I thought on this. I was thinking with my brain parts, and it was, very painful. But I was doing it on your behalf. So, is there there are around 1 million people? About 70% of Hawaii's total population is in Honolulu. Would that ever be considered?
I bet it's been talked about. I don't think they would do it though.
Okay.
And like it's weird because I think a lot of the reasons you wouldn't want to do England are like the same reasons with Hawaii, like travel, time zones, thing like it doesn't make a lot of sense to say, yeah, we're going to do England, but we're not going to do Hawaii. Right. But I just feel like they view it like I don't think the NFL has ever uttered the word Hawaii once. Okay. And so I don't know why now all of a sudden that would be the destination.
Major League Baseball did have a team in Hawaii in the early 70s in the Pacific Coast League. The San Diego Padres were the parent team, and it was painful. They had a terrible time getting teams over there. I think they played 6 games there instead of 3, and it was just very costly, very expensive, a drag on the bottom line for teams. That was a minor league team, but there's a lot of logistics to go into that. All right. Toronto Blue Jays we didn't talk about. Maybe we'll do that in the next segment because this is fun, and they've got a great matchup tonight. They beat up on Nick Martinez yesterday, who's a really good pitcher. Another one, Rasmussen, pitching for the Rays today. We'll find out. They're in it, man. This is not, you can't poo-poo this anymore. Toronto Blue Jays they went to the World Series a year ago, and they're back, baby. And I think this might be the best managing job in some time in Toronto. Tomorrow at 12:40, we're going to have Jansen Denick, who is the new writer at The Athletic. He will be on the air with us to tell us a little bit about himself, obviously, where he's from, what he knows about Edmonton, about the Oilers, and what he's going to write about. He's been writing at the site here for maybe a week and a half or so. Interesting fellow. I had an opportunity to have a cup of coffee with him. It wasn't coffee, but you get the point. And he's an interesting, compelling person. So he'll be on the radio with us live in studio tomorrow at 12:40. So make sure you're tuning in. Straight ahead, we're going to talk about the Jays, also the Oilers, and anything that you mentioned on the text line. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Starting this Thursday, 3 days only. Don't miss the VIP Overstock sale at Wolf GMC Buick. They're seriously overstocked with over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. Explore the entire inventory right now. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. Plus, employee pricing continues. And during the VIP Overstock sale, stop in for even more special incentives. That's Thursday through Saturday at Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the honky tonk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Now's the time to shop with the Bricks 0% event. Get what you need today with absolutely $0 down. Pay nothing with no interest until 2028, or choose 36 equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Plus, save up to 25% on living room furniture, up to 20% on dining and bedroom furniture, and up to 40% on select mattresses. Hurry into the Brick today. These incredible offers are only on until August 19th. The Brick, saving you more.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
The Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Can you fit sports encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. wolfgmcbuick.com.
It's 12:42. This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked and making room with a massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Okay. We want to remind you, I think there are still tickets available, but I know it's sold a lot. Field of Dreams Festival 2026, featuring Devon White, coming up on Saturday afternoon, early evening, 5:30 or so. Former Toronto Blue Jays, Edmonton Trapper, great one. If you ever saw him, you'd never forget him. So you can go to riverhawksfoundation.ca and pick up your tickets. It's going to be a blast. There's a meal. There's an opportunity to meet and greet. There's a question and answer period later on in the event. And of course, you get to catch out, the ball yard. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ballpark. And so we can do that together on Saturday night. Looking forward to it. I have going to be there with. Are you guys going? Who's going from the station? I know I am, and Karen's going.
I'm not going because I am heading up north this weekend. Right. But I don't know. Probably a worthwhile question to ask Mackenzie. She goes out there for. I mean, obviously, like her boyfriend works for the Riverhawks, but she's the one that does go out for our station to do a bunch of the social media and things of such. So. She's probably the right person to ask.
The members of some members of the fantasy baseball team that I'm on will be there as well, and I imagine that there'll be a few scoundrels like Dale Wishwan from my previous rotisserie league days. Donovan is in that league now, and he was bitching yesterday about the fact that the trade offers he's getting are scandalous. So it's nice to see nothing has changed in the last 30 years. I won in 1994 and 1999 in that league. I was there in about 10 years or so. I know that some league members would roll their eyes when I called them, but I know that I entertained all of them. And
that's what's important, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I made them all laugh, including Steve Lane, who was a tough nut, but I got there. Okay. So you were talking during the break, Declan, you are doing a mock fantasy draft. And so my question is, how is the draft going compared to what your expectations were?
Well, yeah, got the draft order. Looks like I'm drafting 6 overall in this one, so wanted to throw it in the system quickly. I was able to grab Jackson Smith-Njigba in the first round. It was between him and CMC. CMC, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but really kind of between him and CMC for that 1-6 spot. Went with Jackson Smith-Njigba. At the turnaround there, 5th pick of the second round, it was between Devon Achane and Ashton Genty, and Amarian Hampton a little bit from me. Okay. I ended up going with Devon Achane. I mean, that Dolphins team is going to be horrible, but Donovan talked about it yesterday. Like he might end up with 600 touches. You know what I mean? Comes back to me in the 3rd round. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. So I go with a little bit of a passion pick, not a bad pick, but I take Josh Allen there. And Josh
it was I think based on what he was looking at, it was either he was going to have to go with a so-so running back or
Jeremiah
Josh Allen.
Yeah, like Jeremiah Love was my option who I was staring at there, and I just didn't like it.
You don't like the idea of having 2 serious bell cows on your team.
Yeah. And Josh made a great point as well. He was like, Josh Allen was never going to get back to you if you didn't take him there, or likely was not.
How many quarterbacks were off the?
He was the first one taken, but we were at about his ADP, and I think there were 9 picks before it got back.
If he was at the ADP, then
then I'll just finish it off with this one, because on the turnaround there, I took Jalen Waddle. It was like Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice, Emeka Egbuka, Ladd McConkey, Ted McMillan. Didn't love what I went with. Didn't love that I didn't get another running back there. And that's where I feel like it really kind of started to fall apart for me. But that's why we do these. So we know how to pick with the 6th spot when draft night actually rolls around.
Got to get your running backs early, folks.
So how many running backs do you need?
Well, so there'll be 2 in a starting lineup plus a flex spot, which can be a wide receiver, tight end, or running back. Now, there's also super flex where you can throw a QB in there, but that's a different thing. You have to start 2, but even if you play PPR, I prefer half PPR, but you got to have a good stable of I would say at least 3 reliable running backs.
How difficult is it? What's the most difficult position in fantasy football to replace during the year?
Running back.
No.
I actually might argue tight end, just because.
Oh, actually, that's a good point.
Just because there seem to be so few elite pass catching tight ends. So if you don't have one of those, you're probably going to be in tough, but at least you've drafted to have good wide receivers and running backs. But if you spend a pick early on like a Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and they go down, you're torched. You're torched. Yeah.
How
You
many
should play fantasy football, Lowtide. I think you would like it.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Like, I have responsibilities and I have other interests, and I already spend like a gobs of time on fantasy baseball and trying to beat Josh's dad, which is you better pack a lunch. It's going to take all day.
By the way, on my fantasy baseball team,
Yes.
I got Kyle Schwarber, Rafi Devers, and Ben Rice. You guys happy with that?
Good.
And Yamamoto and Shohei is pitching.
Is this
and Robbie Ray? I got Robbie Ray as well.
Did you draft recently?
No, like way back. Like
Okay.
this was like start of the season. I'm 7-12 though, because I never set my lineups. But I just wanted to let you guys know who was on
Well,
the
Shohei's
squad.
not pitching anymore.
Yeah.
But
I see
at the
the,
beginning of the year, Ben Rice, Rafi, Kyle Schwarber here looking good.
I got
Ben
Gunnar
Rice has
Henderson
really
as well.
slowed down.
Rice has, but you know what? He doesn't catch either. So like it's tough. I mean, I think it's the first full year where he's like going to play 162. And the other thing is he doesn't have Judge to help him at all. Like that lineup is ghastly. Bellinger's coming back on Sunday, apparently.
Can I actually ask you guys another baseball question?
Sure.
Because I was looking at the betting odds for AL and NL MVP. Yordan Alvarez, far and away the favorite right now. But over in the NL, it was like Shohei with a slight lead ahead of PCA.
Yes.
Why isn't Kyle Schwarber more in contention?
Well, Schwarber is a pure DH, unlike Shohei. And then Schwarber, I mean, his year is good, but it's been inconsistent. And they have been they've had long stretches where that team had not done well. And the other problem, honestly, Declan, is that PCA is having like a year for the ages. He's hit 30-30 for the second year in a row. He's the best center field in baseball. And he's always had these prolonged slumps that really hurt his MVP chances. Not that we were talking about him as an MVP a year ago, but I think he actually wins it because he's been so consistent and so brilliant. And when he gets hot, he's the guy that, and I don't know how it happens, but in baseball it does. He's playing so well this year that every time it's a big moment for the Cubs, he's at the plate, and he has delivered time and time again.
Yeah, I think even in his post-game presser from 2 days ago when he hit the walk-off, he was like, I don't know how I ended up at the plate, but I got there, and thank goodness I did.
Yeah, no, he's just having one of those years, the Reggie Jackson in the World Series in '77. I don't know how it happens. Baseball should never have like one guy dominate because 9 guys get to hit and the pitcher's the star, but it happens. And right now, I think Pete Crow Armstrong will beat Shohei Ohtani unless Ohtani comes back and pitches well or, something like that. But
I don't think he's pitching to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that
you agree
hurts
it's
his
PCA?
case. I agree. I think it's PCA.
No.
But
And
like,
then
man, is it close?
Yeah. And Yordan is gone in the AL. He's just been like the only problem with him is health. And when he's healthy, it just redonkulous ball player. Anything NBA?
No.
Well, when the NBA
Like we can't even fake it. It really is just no.
It's like the only news out of it for weeks are the aspiration of Mark Walters thing. Like that's it. Since like LeBron signed, that was it. So a whole like month.
Where is Bronny back in LA?
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's on a fully guaranteed
contract.
Okay, but he'll still be like an extra.
Yeah, I mean, like he's a bench player, but
like
he's
a good player. He's not a bad player. I'm not saying that.
Like I just like compare him to the other 55th overall picks.
He's better than most of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
did you yawn?
No.
What do you young people get any sleep at all?
Yeah, I got a full like 8 hours last night. It was incredible.
Because you sleep during the week, don't you?
Well,
you're not going to be sleeping on the weekend.
I sleep during the day most of the time. Like I'll get home and I'll have a nap, but those are wildly inconsistent.
What time do you get up in the morning?
My alarm goes off at 5:30. I try to get out of bed by 6.
So I should put you with my friend Josh or Josh.
That is Josh talking,
I know,
by the way. And that is going to send the listeners into a frenzy.
All over it. I have friends who have knowledge of sleeping patterns and what you might want to do. So I don't know if you're like, you should probably, the problem with naps is, can you do a 5-minute nap?
At times when I'm like really tired, I will do this thing where put my feet up on the couch, but I'll lay on the floor and I'll set an alarm for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then if you're tired enough, you'll just fall asleep. And then the alarm goes off. I feel like I slept like a full 8 hours.
Yeah. I always, if I go too long, then I feel groggy and I'm out of it. But Jeff Chrishell has this thing where the earlier you can go to sleep, the farthest from midnight. Like if you go to sleep at 9 and you wake up at like 5, you're doing it right. 10 to 6, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the farther away from midnight, because of the sun and all of that stuff, and they're all factors. I'm not an expert, but Crush has it. And for you, when you get up at 5:30, you said?
Yeah, the alarm goes off at 5:30.
Right. I think if you didn't need a nap, you're young, you shouldn't. But if you want one, that's fine. But if you went to sleep at 9:30 every night, I think you'd be chill. I think you'd be perfect.
I agree. It gets run tough sometimes, but because like especially like with this upcoming season, a couple 9 p.m. games local time, it's gonna be some tough sledding at times for sure.
Karen has to get up at 5:30, and I've had the 9:30 talk with her, and sometimes I say things and I don't think other people hear them. That's what I think, but maybe you will listen to me.
I'll do the best I can.
All right. Well, let us know how it works out when you're going to bed at 9:30.
Sure.
On Friday and Saturday night. Okay. Wait a minute. It's 12:53 actually, right?
Yeah, it is 12:53 actually. Okay. The clock is fixed. I was just thinking the same thing.
Because I was about to throw it a break, but we got 2 minutes to talk, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So,
God, I didn't prep for this 2 minutes.
I was all ready to roll out here and drink my coffee and stare at a wall like I do as a professional broadcaster. And now we've got to find something to talk about. We could talk about NBA, WNBA. Caitlin Clark unhappy that about the heat in the building playing last night. Said Canada doesn't have air conditioning. That's friendly like.
How dare she?
No.
It might have been on the fritz though, because it is really hot in Ontario, Toronto specifically.
Always is. It's off the lake, right? And it's very humid in the summer. When it gets up to a certain degrees, it's just hot. There's nothing. It's like Chicago, same thing. Yeah. But I hope it doesn't kibosh this free trade agreement that's going through.
That's a good hope. I mean, they don't seem too inclined to listen to Caitlin Clark anyways. So
why, can I ask, I guess we don't have time.
Sure we do.
Okay. Well, why are people so brutish? By people, I mean other WNBA players. She's the reason we talk about the league. And they're
yes, she is.
Yeah,
openly it's beyond hostile.
It seems like they openly hate her.
No, they do.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous. Like if I was her, I would get on my phone and tweet, "I changed y'all broke girls' lives," and shut off my phone because that's exactly what she did. She changed their lives for the better. They're flying private now.
Yeah,
the salary cap has jumped up. People actually care about the league. They're playing in 20,000 seat arenas now because it's all because of her. Like, make no mistake. I know Angel Reese likes to butt her head in and act like it's about her as well. It's not. It's about Caitlin Clark. She changed that league for the better. Well, and they do nothing but rip her for it.
But that's a bad look. I'm sorry. That's a very bad look.
The fact that she doesn't even get protection from referees is ridiculous. From protection. Like, she gets hit pretty hard and they're just like, oh, well, whatever. Everyone wants to be the reason that what they're doing is big, Yeah. But Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's Wilt Chamberlain. And they really putting it on the map here.
And we've talked more about the WNBA since she got to the league, or since she was going to get to the league, than we ever did. They didn't have a pulse.
Correct.
And they are treating her like she's not going to have a long career.
I still think she will.
Man.
At some point, the WNBA has to put their foot down and be like, yeah, well,
call the fouls, goofs.
This is literally the golden goose. This is our cash cow.
Look, Connor McDavid thinks that they're not getting calls.
Yeah, exactly. I think Paul and I had this discussion on our last episode or show from this year, where it's it is you have to protect the golden goose to an extent, because if they go down.
Yeah, this is it's not a good look. It's not a good look for the league. It's not a good look for the competitors. And it really does not make the WNBA look good. And eyes are on you. Eyes may not always be on you. It would be a good idea to act like an actual league. Okay, coming up, Kevin McCurdy will join us at 1 o'clock. We'll be talking about the Jays and the Rays. We'll be talking about the Elks and, of course, the Oilers straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Elks Nation. For the best Elks coverage year-round with podcasts and articles, go to elksnation.ca. Player interviews, game analysis, and more. The best green and gold coverage online at elksnation.ca. MLB scores right now. Tigers lead the Pirates 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Mets up 2-1 on the Padres in the top of the 7th. Braves and Twins tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 5th. And in the top of the 3rd, the White Sox and the Cubs currently scoreless. Coming up at 2:10, we'll see the Diamondbacks and Red Sox. Then later today, of course, Toronto Blue Jays down in Tampa take on the Rays for a 41st pitch for that one. Max Scherzer on the bump for the Jays. Late game tonight in the MLB, we'll see the Dodgers and the Rockies at 6:40. WNBA, 2 games. The Toronto Tempo in Washington taking on the Mystics, a 5:30 tip for that one. Then at 8 o'clock, the 29-7 Minnesota Lynx in Golden State to take on the 25-9 Golden State Valkyries. Elsewhere from around the sporting world, all 32 NHL teams getting new hometown remix jerseys this season, while former Wimbledon finalist and tennis star Nick Kyrgios has been suspended from the sport after a positive test for cocaine. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray radio station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Krueger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
Starting this Thursday, 3 days only. Don't miss the VIP Overstock sale at Wolf GMC Buick. They're seriously overstocked with over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. Explore the entire inventory right now. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. Plus, employee pricing continues, and during the VIP Overstock sale, stop in for even more special incentives. That's Thursday through Saturday at Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Grow team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow team today.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowtide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 3 minutes after 1 o'clock. This is the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Starting Thursday, 3 days only, the VIP Overstock Sale. Clearance pricing, employee pricing, and even more special incentives. Starting tomorrow, 3 days only. WolfGMCBuick.com. Very busy show. We haven't talked about the Oilers much. We will this hour. Talk about the Elks as well. Toronto Blue Jays too. I listened to that song, blaring it on my stereo driving in today. Also, Young Americans by Bowie and Driving Sister Fanny by the Stones. That was what I listened to. It was really good. I came in amped up and happy. And then I started talking to Declan. All right, it's time for our headliner of the day. Kevin McCurdy, brought to you by Faber. Cash Flow Crunch got your business on the sidelines. Schedule your free consultation with Faber's licensed insolvency trustees and get back in the game. Visit faber.ca. Do we have Kevin? We do have Kevin. How are you, Mr. McCurdy?
I'm doing well, Alan. How are you doing this week?
I'm very well. I'm talking to Oiler fans all the time, and there seems to be a sense that the roster is, if not set, certainly set enough so that there's just zero chance for Quinn Hudson or Owen Michaels or any of the players that we'd associate with the Bakersfield Condors a year ago, not named Ike Howard, will make the team. And a few think there's no chance we'll see very many recalls. I can see the team not bringing a rookie to the opening night roster, but I do believe a guy like Owen Michaels or Quinn Hudson will play this year. How do you feel?
I think that's a fair statement. They kind of need to figure out if either of those guys can play at the big league level. Who knows what opportunities will present themselves there, and if there's any changes that the team will make if they lose anybody on waivers, for example, or they ship someone out, then that entire calculus could change pretty quickly. Again, we've talked about Josh Brown now 2 weeks in a row. I think there's a non-zero chance he'll at least play some preseason, and we'll see if that's enough of a cookie or if that materializes how I think most people will expect, which is a return to Bakersfield. But I think you're right. I don't think there's much chance that, outside of the 13 or 14 that we've got right now, that there's really anybody that's going to make it into the big roster this year.
Yeah, there's also a sense that a bunch of players will make the team, even though their skill sets overlap. I think there's at least some chance that Matthew Joseph and Matthias Janmark are applying for the same job, and the loser of that job either gets dealt or sent out. They're both making around $1 million, I believe. You could send one of them down or deal one or place them on waivers or whatever the case may be, depending upon their contracts. I don't necessarily see a need for both players on the roster.
Yeah, Janmark's at $1.45 million, if I'm not mistaken. So he's actually more expensive than Matthew Joseph by a little bit. I would need to see something like Janmark has been reliably good defensively for the most part. He really struggled in this season leading up to his surgery, and it is alleged that he's been dealing with that injury for a number of years now. So I'm interested to see what kind of condition he's in, both physically and hockey-wise, after his return to the ice. But I would not at all be surprised to see him waived or dealt if that, it's pretty clear there's not a roster spot for him.
Yeah, it's I feel the same way about the defense. We could like Spencer Stastny. I like Alec Regula. And I don't think that Stan Bowman is in love with the idea of losing both on waivers. But it also feels like a lot of the business of the NHL didn't get done before everybody headed to the cabin or cottage country, and we may see some smaller moves. But Stastny for a draft pick is a deal, and it does help the future because you can use that pick later on in the year. I think the most valuable thing the Oilers have right now is all that cap room.
Yeah, and I think they need to do a good job of maintaining that cap room unless there's a really compelling player to be had somewhere. Stastny is, I think, the more likely to get dealt. I'm not too worried about losing Alec Regula on waivers. The one thing that his time with us did show is it exposed his foot speed issues. Now, I think, that being said, I think Alec Regula is a really smart hockey player. Like, he thinks the game well. Obviously he had that concussion that kind of made things a little dicey for him for a bit, but he sees the game well and he makes smart plays. And that's an important ability at the NHL level for sure. If he's worked on his foot speed and his explosiveness, then maybe he's in a better spot than he was. But his foot speed by itself kind of makes him at risk of being at best a tweener. As it currently sits. Stastny, I think, has the capability to be a full-blown NHL player, and I think he would be more likely to be lost on waivers than Regula as a result.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I was looking at the Bakersfield Condors center depth chart, and Marhala, Owen Michaels, I think William Nicol is going to be playing in the middle there. I can't decide whether Josh Szymanski makes the Oilers or not. And the reason why I think he makes the Oilers is they just don't have that many centers who are as good as he is as a center. And I know Szymanski is technically a rookie, and we just said there wasn't going to be any of them. But can you successfully in your mind offload Szymanski from the Oilers roster and feel comfortable with the center depth chart?
Well, that leaves them in a pretty precarious spot in terms of handedness, right? And the thing that the team needs to figure out, and rapidly, and I think we've talked about this before, is if Leon Draisaitl is going to play on the first line with Connor McDavid, that is going to massively expose their second and third line centers potentially. No disrespect to Nuge, but he is not he's not a 2C now. I think he's better as a winger, and whether that's on the first or the third line doesn't really matter. But their center depth is definitely going to be exposed, and I think Szymanski could help at least in that 3C capacity, and then they would need to figure out 2C. So I know that there's a lot of talk about Connor and Leon playing together at home, and they're going to find out real quick that I don't think the center depth is there to support that through the whole season.
There's a lot of Oilers fans, Kevin McCurdy, our guest on Sports 1440 and YouTube. There's a lot of Oilers fans who are kind of get the feeling that this team right now is going to move Savoy to the right side and Howard to the left side because Mike Babcock sticks along the boards. And I think that's probably fair. But the question I have is at what price? Savoy looked so good with McDavid. I'd be really hesitant to take him off the top line. How do you feel about that?
I really like Savoy and McDavid together. I think Matt Savoy thinks the game at a high enough speed and plays at a high enough speed to keep up with Connor, and I would love to keep developing that capability. And then that again is kind of complicated by what they do with Leon. If they put Leon and Connor together, I think would have a hard time saying that they shouldn't play Savoy and Connor and Leon, because I think that the pieces are there to make that work. If Leon's playing on his own line, then I again have a hard time making a case that his line mates shouldn't be anybody but Vasily Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen. Although we'll see what role Kapanen takes coming out of this offseason.
That's interesting that you mentioned it because, I pretty much know what Babcock's going to do with Hyman because Zach Hyman has played the same style since he played with Babcock back in the teens in Toronto. But, could make an argument that Kasperi Kapanen is a more consistent player than he was. And I just wonder if Mike Babcock sees him as the inconsistent Kapanen in Toronto, or maybe there's enough of what he sees on tape, and maybe the coaches are telling him that Kapanen is a little more consistent. I'm not saying he's the most consistent winger. I'm not saying that, but with Leon, he has really played well. I wonder if Babcock is up to playing him in what we would consider to be a feature role on the Draisaitl line.
Yeah, and I think that's, Kapanen was pretty hit or miss without Leon, but he was a lot more hit than miss with him, right? I don't think there's much dispute that Leon is able to bring the best out of Kasperi, and I think that the team should leverage that. And I know that, a lot of people are going to say, well, that's, kind of non-traditional. I don't consider Kasperi Kapanen a second liner. And in most cases, you would be true, but the results between him and Podkolzin and Leon kind of speak for themselves. They were basically Edmonton's most effective line for a good stretch of last season. So why would you not harvest that again, even if it is kind of it doesn't really fit the normal archetype that a second line would be?
So I'm going to ask you a final question for you, unless I think of one while you're talking. Kevin McCurdy, I've looked at it 6 ways to Sunday, and I've looked at, from both sides now, every Joni Mitchell song, and I can't find a better spot on the roster at 5-on-5 than for Ike Howard than on the Draisaitl line. I know that it seems like you're pushing a guy up who hasn't earned it, but I've never bought into that. And Draisaitl has turned a lot of wingers who are young and inexperienced into excellent NHL players, going back to Yamamoto and Slepashov if he ever passed the puck. And I think he could do it with this guy, and it would open up a lot of opportunities for that third line because there'd be extra skill. But you would have to do it at the expense of somebody like Kapanen. What's your feeling on Howard's best spot and his chances of making the team?
I think Howard's got a decent chance of making the team outright. I think they're going to have to make some or keep some kind of commitment to him, lest they start pushing him down the path of Philip Broberg. But with that said, I think Podkolzin is going to be really good coming out of the gate this year. He's looked great in training from some of the limited video I've seen of him. I think that those guys are going to be battling it out to be Leon's wingers, right? And I don't know if that pushes Kapanen out or that pushes Podkolzin out. But I do think that Leon being one of the best passers in the league and pairing him with a guy like Howard, who, is a shooter first through and through, I think that's a great concept in theory.
So Lazar is still out there, as far as I know. I know that they already have 15 forwards. I get it. I understand. But they don't have a right shot center, and Lazar was pretty good on the face-off circle, at least. Do you think they'll address it, and do you think Lazar is an option before, during training camp?
I guess they're probably going to look at it in training camp, but I know they got 15 forwards, but you know what they don't have, Alan? They don't have 16 forwards, and you can never have enough forwards, right? So at a certain point, we have to hit the 23-man roster here, unless Gary Bettman's feeling particularly forgiving, and it's going to be like, now you guys can just take every guy that has ever played for the league and is sort of a tweener and figure it out, right? Just ice your best roster.
Just call Gary and say, Gary, we're having a really hard time. Oh, please.
Yeah. I'm sure that would work out great for us. I'm sure he'd be very accommodating to our needs.
Yeah, he's always thinking about Edmonton. There's no doubt about that. All right, sir. Thanks for this. Appreciate it very much.
No worries. Have a good week, everyone.
There you go. Kevin McCurdy. He's on every Wednesday at 1:00, and we appreciate him very much. Now, while we were talking, there was lots of content coming in that's how you drive the show by texting us at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. HD says Howard's shoot first mentality would drive Leon nuts. Draisaitl is all about puck possession. He has been able to work with a lot of different line mates. Now, Slepyshev was a shooter and never passed the puck. If Howard was that selfish as a player, I think it would be a problem, but I don't see that based on what I've seen. Okay, more comments like that on the way. This is the Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522
Lowtide launches high in the air toward the Dodger bullpen and into the Dodger bullpen. Number 30 for Ohtani to break the tie here at Coors. Fly ball to right field. To the corner goes Fernando. At the wall. Whips it. Makes the grab. Up into the air. Brings it down.
It's like a moon boot.
Yeah.
People who remember those.
Here's Clark. Step back three. It's good.
It's like a moon boot.
Yeah.
People who remember.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowtide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. 120. Clock is right for the first time, in a year? I would say. Appreciate that very much. Jay says, Tarasenko with pods and dry. Maybe, but I think they'd like to keep their powder dry on the cap room that they have. It's been a long time. People blame Ken Holland, but the pandemic really ruptured the plan for Ken Holland. He signed Cassian before the pandemic. He traded for Andreas Athanasiou. I can't pronounce most names, and that one I just rip off like it's nothing. The brain is weird. Lance says Caitlin Clark is a political football. I agree with that, but it's enraging and it's outrageous. Somebody in a position of authority in the WNBA has to stand up in front of the owners and the officials and everybody involved and say, hey, people are paying attention to this league and to us. And if this individual goes down, they won't. There's a very famous football game. I'm going to say it was 1960. I'm going to say the New York Giants were involved and Frank Gifford was involved. And it was an overtime game, and it galvanized the fan base behind the NFL. because the NFL was the NFL. They've been rolling, stumbling, bumbling, tumbling for years. But that game vaulted them into new territory in the American psyche. Baseball had been around forever. Baseball on television was on all the time. And now all of a sudden football started to own Sundays. And, Gretzky to LA. Well, America paid way more attention to the NHL when Gretzky was in Los Angeles. The NBA, when I was young, I was, basically Josh's age, and Magic and Bird were like, it was back every year. It was like, that was the story. And then Jordan came along and just elevated it even more. So you went from Bird and Magic, who were basically the games where even the playoff games were tape delayed until then. And then all of a sudden you had to run it live, and it was a bigger deal than it had ever been before. And then Jordan vaults it into what it is today, just a monster league. And maybe that's Gary's dream, is to put an NHL team in the desert, have Austin Matthews come and play there, and have that roll out over a period of years. And there'll be one more way that the Oilers won't win a Stanley Cup.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, listen, just because you've got 2029 in the vault and it's all done and sealed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Listen, again, I get to ride that high for an entire year if this happens.
Well, I don't think we'll talk to you for the year.
Hey, fair enough.
We'll take the microphone away from your workplace area, and we'll just throw stuff at you.
But yeah. And you guys could say bad take, and I'd be like, sorry, I don't have a bad take for the entire year. Remember when in 2025 I predicted the Calgary Flames to win the Stanley Cup in 2029? That's right.
It's a good shtick you have. There's no doubt about it. But if they win, we'll be tired of your shtick right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be a short-lived, you'll be gleeful, but as a radio bit would just rain down blows upon you. Maybe Calgary will have a sports talk station by then, and we can satellite in there, and you can use it that way.
You can send me there.
Yeah.
Ban me there for a year.
King of Fort Nasty, Alana Miles, my very first CD. CDs are compact discs, Josh Fenwick. A thin disc we spun in stereos to play music. I guarantee King of Fort Nasty, he knows what a CD is.
I do. It was the only thing I could use in my car for the first year I had it.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
Chicken
Buckaroo?
butt.
I had an 8-track when I got it. The CCR's Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and 2. Nice. C.W. McCall, Convoy, some Dolly records, some Emmylou records, maybe a George Jones.
I listened to a lot of Great Big Sea.
Yeah.
Canadian icons.
And then I got cassettes, and I could record jam albums onto my cassette. That I owned the LP, down at the tube station at midnight and all that good stuff.
I'm getting a CD the next time I see my parents.
Oh.
Because a friend of mine, I'm 5 months older than her to the day. She released her first EP.
No way.
And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and did a little concert down in Calgary in the bookstore where she works. So they bought me and my sister each a copy of her EP. So
that is so cool, man. I hope she just becomes a big time star, and you get to watch her live when she comes here to play at Rogers.
She's gonna be. She has a wonderful voice.
What kind of music is it?
I think it's like indie folk.
Okay, cool.
My mom said she wanted to murder the guy that got her to write those songs, though. So they must be pretty sad.
Well, yeah.
But she's a lovely girl, good friend of mine. So
it's unfortunate that such great art and music comes out of heartbreak, but that is the way it is.
If that's what it came out of at all, it could be about her cat.
Okay, it could be.
Which was also a painful loss for her.
Who's the artist who wrote a love song? Was it Norah Jones about her cat? Greatest man ever, or best man in the world? I remember it because it was the sweetest little song. It was about her cat. I think a cat, maybe dog. My memory. It is shot. Propane Pimp says having Dry play with 97 is simply the dumbest idea this team can have. They don't have a legit 2-center, And it all but eliminates Howard from playing in the NHL, doing what he does best, and the reason Bowman traded for him. Well, here's the thing, and I've said this before, and I've written about it, and I'm going to say it again. I'm a repetitive fella. So in this single solitary area of life, nothing else, I will never make a claim that I or you know more than a coach, because the coach has bundles, oodle noodles of things that he knows that we don't. Who's hurt? Who's been down on themselves? Who's got real problems at home? Who has been, kind of, frustrated and trying to get out of a slump and nothing's working. All of those things the individual knows. Who plays best with whom? Who can play the offside better than the other guy? All of those things the coach would know that we do not know. But in this single solitary area, I'm pretty sure we, as observers of the Edmonton Oilers, can say that they are more effective with McDavid and Draisaitl apart and with Josh Brown in Bakersfield. We can make that statement, and we can sign a petition saying as much, but Mike Babcock is just going to have to figure it out for himself, and I am confident that he will. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a famous player, and he's been a fine player for many, many years, since 2011, which my math tells me was 15 years ago. It's a long, wonderful career. He is no longer a center. 5-on-5, when McDavid and Draisaitl weren't on the ice with him last year, his line was 37% goal share. That is below expansion level. That is really, really, really bad. It's not Oakland Seals 1967 bad, but it's not good. So Mike Babcock can run that unit, and maybe he can populate the wingers with guys like, Zach Hyman and Vasily Podkolzin, and they can ump that to 48% or maybe 50%, but it's not worth it. And he will find that out, that if you're going to run this team the way it should be run, David's on line 1, Draisaitl's on number 2. And if you are going to run them together, then you need to go out and trade for a center, probably a right-handed guy. And oh, by the way, the price tag on that is hellacious. So best to run it 1-2, and I think he'll get there, but I'm not going to say it's unfair. We're ahead of the game because we've seen it. Got to give him a little bit of time. What You Give by Tesla is about his dog dying. Okay. Old Shep was about a dog who died. It was on Elvis's record that my mom had as a kid. It was very sad, very sad.
Also, Nora Jones's song was about her pet poodle. Connor, do you remember what the name of the poodle was? All right. He can't remember what the name of the poodle was, but that song you thought of was, yes, about her pet poodle.
Okay. And it's called Man of the Hour.
Man of the Hour?
Yeah, that's the name of the song. It's written as a romantic dedication to her scruffy poodle named Ralph.
Shout out. When I Google Man of the Hour song, I get Pearl Jam.
When I was young, when you were talking about Ralph, you would mention on the big white telephone, which meant you were doing something after a party and maybe at 3 a.m. But times change, and we move on and adapt.
As you should. Improvise, adapt, overcome, as I learned from the great, legendary Bear Grylls.
I'm sure Lowtide was listening to some Talking Heads on those tapes. You bet. More songs about building and food, 77, Fear of Music. I will say this. If you're a Talking Heads fan and you haven't seen their live movie from that era, man, you got to see it. They come out and it's an acoustic version of Heaven, and it's just David Byrne with Tina Weymouth playing the bass, and I think there's a cassette player with the music, and off camera behind the scenes is this gorgeous female voice that just sings wonderful harmony. David Byrne. You got to watch that movie. It's really good. Yeah. You can make excuses for 97-29 all you want, but it didn't work last year, and it won't work this year unless they find a number 2C who can hold his own for propane bill. Leon Draisaitl is the best number 2 center in the world. In fact, he's not a number 2 center. He's a number 1 center on. How many teams would Leon Draisaitl be the number 1 center on? All but Edmonton and Colorado and who else? I think that might be it.
I think that is the list.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Now, with how in love with Austin Matthews Toronto is,
he'd be number
maybe
one.
them, but he's definitely better than Austin Matthews. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches that the Edmonton Oilers refused to take advantage of. Think about that. So, what have you got coming up on declinations?
Yeah, we're going to be looking at my top 12 teams plus my group of 5 team, my preseason top 12, if you will.
For the NCAA.
Yes.
Okay, I'm really in. Don't tell me where Notre Dame is, and don't tell me where Oregon is.
Oh, I forgot about Notre Dame. Good call,
You son of a gun. This is why we argue like a married couple. You forgot about Notre Dame. But is there a team outside the norm? Like if we got I'm not saying Idaho State, but if we have somebody that I would go, wow.
There might be one team that, well, listen, if you follow kind of college football, in today or in the last year, whatever, I would guess there would be 2 teams. You're like, okay, interesting. Name value program wise, there's probably going to be one that you're like, interesting. And then obviously I have my group of 6 team that will be in there.
Northside Lou knows me too well. He said, Stop Making Sense is the name of the movie. I couldn't remember the name of the movie. I was explaining it. I just couldn't remember the name of the thing. Okay.
Good news for standings watchers that are Blue Jays fans, because Brandon Lau just walked it off against the Tigers.
Nice. Tigers are in trouble.
Can I bring something up in regard to Leon Draisaitl?
Sure.
Because Robbie texted in on the text line, 1-833-401-1440. Get your text in. Join the conversation. He said in Florida he'd be a number 2. And I definitely think he's better than Sasha Barkov.
But Barkov is
an interesting one.
You know what?
That is an interesting one.
We will table it and respect it and not poo-poo it because it is a legitimate thought, and that's the truth. All right. Coming up, it's Declinations. We're going to talk a little Declan CAA. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to this. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the 1, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them, you've screenshotted them, you've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's country night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the hockey talk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
Starting this Thursday, 3 days only. Don't miss the VIP overstock sale at Wolf GMC Buick. They're seriously overstocked with over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. Explore the entire inventory right now. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. Plus, employee pricing continues, and during the VIP overstock sale, stop in for even more special incentives. That's Thursday through Saturday at Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
The Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Starting tomorrow, 3 days only. The VIP overstock sale, clearance pricing, employee pricing, and even more special incentives. WolfGMCBuick.com. When you're driving over there tomorrow, I want you to put on a song. It doesn't matter which Spoon song. The Old Emotions is great, but Nova Heart, doesn't matter. Whatever one you want. But everybody should listen to a Spoon song every day. It's a spoons full of goodness. CanCon. Highly recommended to you. Helps build strong bones. Strong brains, good thought processes, all of that. Time for Declinations, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. It's country night this Friday when the Elks host the Blue Bombers. Enjoy a fun Friday night to see if your blue jeans are as tight as Brandon Douglas's. I doubt it. Get your tickets to goelks.com. And now to talk NCAA, Declan Krueger.
Yes, my preseason top 12 plus my group of 5 team. I do this every year. If you've been listening to us since the inception of this station back in September, it was September 23.
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, you would know this has always been one of the segments I've been the most passionate about. And
it's the only segment you care about.
Well, that's not fair, but it's definitely the one that I do the most like prep for. I would say.
If you were going to send out a tape of your broadcast technique, it would be this segment.
Oh, hey, I've got that tape locked and loaded. Don't you worry. But for anyone who doesn't know how the college football playoff works, it's a 12-team playoff. It is a group of 6 team. The highest ranked group of 6 champion will get a auto bye. There actually are some amendments to it this year, such as like if Notre Dame's in the top 12, they'll be in automatically. The Power 4 conference champions will get auto bid. So having a top 12 with an extra group of 6 team isn't always a perfect preseason ranking, but it's how I've gone about it since this iteration of the playoffs. They've changed the rules each year, so that's what I'm doing here. So without should I just jump into it?
Oh, please do. And I reserve the right to interrupt.
Yeah, of course. You reserve the right to kibosh this whole segment. It's your show. Starting off with my group of 6 team, and I want to put my hand up and be a little transparent here. And ever since kind of the inception of Elks Nation, time I've spent maybe diving into group of 6 teams, I haven't been doing quite as much. So comparatively to past years, I might have a little more information on the group of 6 versus this year and versus last year as well when we kicked off Elks Nation. Love Elks Nation. This isn't this is just background because I want to be transparent with the listeners. But I did have Boise State as my group of 6 team. Spencer Danielson, I think one of the best coaches out there, who isn't currently at a Power 4 program. I think most people would tell you that. The thing with Boise State is like they're the Gonzaga basketball of football, or at least that's kind of what they've shaped up to be, right?
That's very, very fair.
They were the highest ranked group of 6 team via the AP voters. They came in at 28th. They didn't quite make the AP top 25. Maddox Madsen, 5th-year quarterback, had a bit of a down year last year compared to 2 years ago when they were a 1-loss team going into the playoff. But they're just like, again, they're the Gonzaga basketball, right? So until a group of 6 team gives you a reason not to pick Boise State, they're always going to kind of be the first team right there. My number 12, and this is a preseason ranking. This isn't me predicting the top 12 playoff teams come the end of the year. I'm going to be doing that next week. But my number 12, I actually have USC. Okay, now, the thing with USC, I'm really bullish on Jade Mayava. I think he is a really good quarterback. Lincoln Riley is also in a position where it's like, you got to figure it out now. I think they're number 15 in the actual AP poll. I had them number 12. The problem with USC is their schedule. They got to play Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and go on the road to Penn State. Plus, they have a sneaky tough home game against Washington. So, like, they very well may end this season 8-4, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be indicative of how good of a team they are or what their talent is. Like, Iowa does this every year. Iowa every single year goes like 8-4 and finishes 22nd or 23rd in the poll, and everyone's like, well, they're not that good. They're just 8-4, but they play every team tough. Their stadium is a really tough place to play, and their losses are always like 1 touchdown to Ohio State, 1 touchdown to Michigan, 1 touchdown to Penn State. You know what I mean? Like, they're always right there. I think USC could be shades of that this year just because their schedule is so tough. Like I mentioned, Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana at the road, on the road at Penn State, and then Washington at home. Like, those are 5 incredibly tough games. No chance they get through unscathed. They very well could be like an 8-4 team, but talent-wise, it'll be an 8-4 team that is competitive in every game. And as such, I had them at my number 12.
Well, I just love that USC's getting mentioned at this high level.
Yeah.
I love it.
And like I said, I think they were 15th in the official AP poll. I'd have to pull it up. But
they're coming back.
Yeah. No. Number 11, this is going to be one that people may kind of like raise their eyebrows at. I raised their eyebrows at. Sorry, I've developed a stutter here over the last 2 weeks or something. I went with BYU. Okay. I think they're probably my pick to win the Big 12. I would have gone with Texas Tech had Sorsby been eligible and playing. The way I would describe BYU to people is like if they're just solid everywhere, and they're old, and except for their quarterback who started last year as a true freshman. But they're solid everywhere. Like, if this team was video game ratings, they wouldn't have like any 95s or 96s, but they also wouldn't have any like 65s or 67s. They would just be like 84 everywhere. They're really old. They're really experienced. They play a pretty fundamental style of football, I would say. Their quarterback is Bear Bachmeier. He wears number 47, so watch out for that. That's always pretty cool. They're 14th in the official AP poll. I had them number 11. At number 10, I had lesu. You may recall back last week, I had them as one of 8 teams I thought could win the national title. 41 transfers came in this year. Sam Levitt, 5-star quarterback, transfers over. New coach, obviously, with Lane Kiffin. Really love the talent there. But LSU also, and I'll give them this credit, this is a different iteration of LSU. Every single year we put LSU in 11 or 12 or 10 or something like that because of the talent. And then they finish 9-3 or 8-4. So, like I said, this is a different iteration of that LSU team. They're always going to be in and around this ranking due to their talent. It never actually plays out on the field. I'm not sure if this year will be any different under Lane Kiffin. We'll have to see. But I had them at number 10.
Interesting.
I had Ole Miss at number 9. I think Ole Miss has been woefully disrespected because of the departure of Lane Kiffin. Like, Ole Miss last year were a 2-loss team who made the national semifinals. And one of those losses was to Georgia, which they did avenge in the college football playoff. The other one was a semifinal loss, like I said, to Miami, who was the national title runner-up. Trinidad Chambliss comes back. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football, might be the best. They returned Kawan Lacey, who again I think is one of the best running backs in college football, might be the best. I think they have like 7 or 8 new starters on defense that all came in from the transfer portal, so that's going to be a question. And then Pete Golding, like, it's a very limited sample size, but he did a good job coaching in the college football playoff. Now, an entire season is different. I don't know how it's going to break for them, but I thought they were being a little disrespected with some of the preseason rankings. They did come in at number 9 on the AP poll, number 10 on the coaches poll. A lot of pundits had them a little bit lower. I think number 9 is a good spot for them with the returning talent. Number 8, I went with Texas A&M. Super talented roster through and through. 2-loss team, playoff team last year. Marcel Reed comes back, really good quarterback. The thing with Texas A&M is they're a little bit like the Leafs, right? Like, you know, they're supposed to be good. Their fan base thinks they're going to be good every year. And then they just don't quite get there. Like, that has been the story of Texas A&M over the last little while. And I also think it's worth noting they were kind of the first team of the next tier, if you will. Because my top 7, I think those all exist in a tier within themselves. Texas A&M was kind of the first team of that next tier.
Okay.
At number 7, I had Georgia. And I do think there are a couple different ways you could order 1 to 7. The biggest thing with Georgia is they just don't have any wide receivers. Like, it's been a while since they've had a 1,000-yard wide receiver. I don't love their wide receiver room this year. They've also, ever since the NIL era started, they've taken a bit of a hit. Like, the way Georgia was able to win those 2 national titles in 21-22 was they just built the biggest line of scrimmage you had ever seen on both sides of the ball and just killed you there. Like, they just killed you all season. They haven't done that as much in the NIL era because obviously the division of resources and prospects willing to go other places for money, etc. They're still going to be good. They're still one of the best teams in the SEC, but I did have them coming in at number 7. Okay. I had Indiana at number 6. Could have been higher. Had the best transfer portal index score. Coach Sig, best coach in college football. You know, Steph Daly comes back on the defensive line. Charlie Becker comes back. They get Josh Hoover in the transfer portal, who, like, someone said this. I don't think Josh Hoover is going to be Fernando Mendoza, but if you just looked at Fernando Mendoza coming over last year before the season began and Josh Hoover coming over this year, you would say Josh Hoover was the better quarterback. Now, I don't think he is going to be a Heisman winning quarterback who is better than Fernando Mendoza, but that is how you would look at it if you were looking at it preseason, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a huge advantage for them. Like I said, best transfer portal index score, defending national champions. I have them number 6. I had Miami at number 5. I actually think they upgraded at quarterback, going from Carson Beck, who's now with the Arizona Cardinals, to Darian Mensah. They have the best wide receiver in college football, not named Jeremiah Smith, and Malachi Toney. Got to replace that defense. But I also talked about this. I do think they're a very well-coached team in fundamentals, which I think can take you pretty far. Into the top 4, I had Notre Dame at number 4. Thought about throwing them at number 3.
I think 4 is fair based on what little I know.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
I thought about putting them at number 3. I'll say this. I had Ohio State at number 3. And the reason I didn't, and this isn't exactly analytical or anything, but 4 just felt too low for Ohio State. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of...
Well, with their recent history, and by that I mean their long history, that would have been like an outlier, right?
Yeah, and Notre Dame, best corner in the country, and Leonard Moore. I feel like I've talked up CJ Carr on the show. I really believe in him as a quarterback. Going to have to replace the running game with Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. But I said this as well. They might just turn into a passing offense, and their schedule will allow them time to buffer and figure out the running game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I have them at number 4. I had Ohio State at number 3, like I said, been one of the absolute premier programs for the last however many years now. I don't think it's any surprise they're there. And they have the best player in college football in Jeremiah Smith. At number 2, I went with Texas. I think they have the second most talented roster in football. I think Steve Sarkisian sometimes gets credit for not winning the big one, which is probably warranted. But I also think it's one of those ones where it's like, if we just take a step back and look at this, like, he is a very good coach. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They have Arch Manning, who I think is, as it trends right now, going to be one of the top quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft. They got a 5-star wide receiver in the transfer portal and a guy by the name of Cam Coleman, who I think is going to be going to find some real chemistry with Arch and do some big things for them. And then one of the best edge rushers in the country in Colin Simmons. So when you're looking at some of the most important positions, when you go from coach, quarterback, wide receiver, defensive end, they kind of got everything covered. And then my number one team, and Joel Klatt, who is a college football pundit, he's the he's the color commentator for Fox Sports. He did a preseason top 25, and he said he was surprised Oregon wasn't more unanimously number one, which I was obviously very, very happy to hear about as a fan. But putting bias aside, they are my number one team. Return the entire front four. Dante Moore comes back, was probably going to be the second quarterback taken in last year's NFL draft. Brandon Finney, great they're solid everywhere. They're the one roster you can't point to and say they have a problem here or there, whatever. So they came in at my number one.
All right.
And that's it.
Okay. Good job. I like your list.
Thank you.
I do. I like Notre Dame where it is because I'm still a little mad at Notre Dame with what happened last year.
Oh, that's just totally
dumb.
reasonable.
You did the idea is to be, fair in sport and not be a big baby. And I guess that was too high a, bar. By the way, the Athletic did a little bit of reader expansion team ideas for the NFL. You want to hear the top 10?
Yes.
London Monarchs, London Royals, Mexico City Aztecas, Toronto Mounties, Berlin Blitz, Madrid Bulls, Dublin Rebels, Sao Paulo Storm, interesting, Rome Gladiators, Paris Musketeers. That is lame, which is perfect for Paris. I just can't see Paris.
Hate it.
I just can't see Paris. But also New Zealand All Blacks, Glasgow Green, Stockholm Syndrome, Vancouver Grizzlies, Stockholm Syndrome. Vancouver Grizzlies, Tokyo Samurai, Helsinki Thunderstones, Reykjavik, I can't say it, Seoul Train, as in Seoul, Korea, Melbourne Roos, and Vatican City Bishops. I don't know. I mean, Vatican City, is that a football town?
No, what are we doing here? Go ahead and scratch that off the list.
I don't want to name the Vatican City NFL football team. I think that's I think there's a church and state thing that sort of comes in before you name the team, Oh, well. The one other question I had for you about your list.
Yes.
Is like a long time ago when the earth was green, I always cheered for Washington, the Huskies.
Hey.
And I just wondered where you might put them.
I like Washington a lot, Lowtide. They came in at 17 on the AP poll, which I think is a little bit high. But I really, really like Washington. They had a thing this year with their quarterback. He was going to leave in the transfer portal. And then Washington was like, oh, hey, no, actually, we signed you to a contract, so you're going to stay here. So he is going to stay and play for them this year. Washington last year was woefully underappreciated, and I think they're going to be a better team this year. Okay. So I love that you gave Washington a shout. Now, again, I think number 17 on the AP poll, a little high for my liking, but I'm glad to see them getting love because I think they're going to be a really tough out in the Big Ten, and I do think they're a good team.
I love watching those late afternoon football in the falls, October. USC, Washington, UCLA against, whomever. I used to love for me, the Pac-10 / Pac-12 was for me personally, it was the best. It was. And then you'd have the Rose Bowl game, which always involved, somebody like Michigan or.
Yeah, it was because it was Big Ten winner versus.
Right. And that was just, for me, that was the best football. By the way, tomorrow we will have Bag Knuckle 1 o'clock at 12:40 tomorrow in studio. Jansen Denick, the new athletic writer. We'll look forward to talking to Jansen about what he has planned for the fall and the winter as your brand new Edmonton Oilers athletic reporter. Thanks so much for tuning in and to the Lowdown. Jason Gregor Show on the way next, featuring Connor Halley. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. For your next move in the Edmonton or area, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. That's 265-0165. One final today from the MLB was the Pirates over the Tigers for 3 games on right now. See the Braves and the Twins tied 4-4 in the bottom of the 7th. Mets leading the Padres 4-1 in the top of the 9th, and the White Sox up 1-0 over the Cubs, also in the top of the 7th. Jays will be in action at 4:40 down in Tampa, taking on the Rays. Max Scherzer on the bump in that one. And in the WNBA, Toronto Tempo going at 4:30 against the 5:30 against the Mystics. Then at 8, we'll see the Minnesota Lynx and the Golden State Valkyries. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player.